let's take a moment to look at some titles and terminology, because I tend to use the term counsellor during this course, but I also sometimes use the term therapist. And so you might be wondering, okay, well, what do all these titles mean? Well, therapist is a catch-all term, and counsellor is a catch-all term as well. So they essentially mean the same thing. We're talking about practitioner as well and psychotherapist. All of these are catch-all terms for people delivering counselling or psychotherapy, or however you might want to call it. Typically, maybe someone following a person-centered counselling approach might be more tempted to use the word counsellor, and someone following a cognitive behavioural therapy approach might be more inclined to use the word therapist. But really, all these four terms, therapist, counsellor, psychotherapist, and practitioner, are catch-all terms that we could use interchangeably throughout this course. And there are some titles that have a genuinely different meaning, and we'll differentiate those here. So we've got psychiatrist. So this is a medical doctor, someone who's trained as a doctor and then specialized in mental health, specialized in psychiatry. And the advantage of being a psychiatrist is that you can prescribe. So these are the people that give out the antidepressants, but you do have to go to medical school and then later transfer into mental health. Psychologist is someone who's a bit more research focused and maybe has a bit more of an academic role. And then once to become a psychologist, you can do a British Psychological Society accredited degree, and then you can move on to specialize, if you want to do that, into counselling psychologist and clinical psychologist. So these are registered professions, meaning you have to register with the government, and then you can use a title. And to do that, you would have to do your first degree in psychology, and then you'd have to go do a 3-year doctorate specialising in counselling or clinical. So psychiatrist, psychologist, counselling psychologist, and clinical psychologist have slightly different meanings to the terms we previously discussed.